Students, this is chapter number 6 and we are going to look at project time management. These are the learning objectives. So managers most times find that delivering projects on time is one of their biggest challenges. This is because time has the least amount of flexibility and it passes no matter what happens on the project. Meaning that shared issues are the main reason for conflicts on projects, especially during the second half of the project. So let us look at time management processes. We have planning schedule management, which involves determining the policies, procedures, and documentation that will be used for planning, executing, and controlling the project schedules. And the main output of this is the schedule management plan. So we also have activity definition, which involves identifying the specific activities that the project team members and stakeholders must perform to produce the project deliverables. So the main outputs under this include activity list, activity attributes, milestone list, and project management plan updates. So we also have activity sequencing, which involves identifying and documenting the relationships between project activities. And the main outputs of this process include project schedule, network diagrams, and project documents updates. So we are still continuing. We have activity resource estimating, which involves estimating on how resources, these include people, equipment, and materials, a project team should use to perform project activities. So the main outputs of this process are activity resource requirements, a resource breakdown structure, and project documents updates. We also have activity duration estimating, which involves estimating the number of work periods that are needed to complete individual activities. And the outputs of this include activity duration estimates and project documents updates. So we also have schedule development, which involves analyzing activity sequencing, activity resource estimates, and activity duration estimates to create the project schedule. And the outputs of these include a schedule baseline, project schedule, schedule data, project calendars, project management plan updates, and project documents updates. Lastly, we have schedule control, which involves controlling and managing changes to the project schedule. And the outputs of this include work performance information, schedule forecasts, change requests, project updates, and organizational process assets updates. So this is the project time management summary. We have in the project group of planning, we do processes like plan, schedule management. Then we also do definition of activities. Then we do sequencing of activities. We also do estimating of activity resources. You also find estimating of activity durations. Also, you develop a schedule. So under monitoring and control, we do a control schedule, which involves work performance information and other. And this process goes from the beginning up to the end of the project. So let us look at planning schedule management. So the first step in project time management is planning how the schedule will be managed throughout the life of the project. So project schedules grow out of the basic documents that initiate a project. So the project charter often mentions planned project time, start and end dates, which serve as the starting points for a more detailed schedule. So after reviewing the project management plan, project charter, enterprise environmental factors, and organizational process assets, the project team uses expert judgment, analytical techniques, and meetings to develop the schedule management plan. And the main output of this process is a schedule management plan. So let us look at activity definition. So project schedules grow out of the basic documents that initiate a project. And the project charter includes start and end dates and budget information. We also have the scope statement and work breakdown structure, which help define what will be done. Then, for activity definition, it involves developing a more detailed work breakdown structure and supporting explanation to understand all the work to be done so that you can develop realistic cost and duration estimates. So we have activity lists and attributes. So activity list is a tabulation of activities to be included on a project schedule that includes the activity name, an activity identifier or number, a brief description of the activity. So activity attributes provide more information, for example, predecessors, successors, logical relationships, leads and lags, resource requirements, constraints, imposed dates, and assumptions related to the activity. We have milestones. So a milestone is a significant event that normally has no duration. It often takes several activities and a lot of work to complete a milestone. Examples include obtaining customer sign-off on the key documents or completion of a specific product. So why are project milestones important? They help in tracking the project progress because they are useful tools for setting schedule goals and monitoring progress. They also make major points along the project journey. So let us look at activity sequencing, which involves reviewing activities and determining dependencies. So a dependence or relationship is the sequencing of project activities. So you need to determine the dependencies in order to use critical path analysis. So there are three basic reasons for creating dependencies among project activities, and these are of three types. We have mandatory dependencies, which are inherent in nature of the work being performed on a project, sometimes referred to as hard logic. We also have discretionary dependencies, which are defined by the project team, sometimes referred to as soft logic, and should be used with care since they may limit later the scheduling options. So we also have external dependencies, which involve relationships between project and non-project activities. So let us look at the network diagram. So network diagrams are the preferred technique for showing activity sequencing. So a network diagram is a schematic display of the logical relationships among or sequencing of project activities. There are two main formats that the arrow and precedence diagramming methods. So let us look at arrow diagramming method. So it is also called activity on a row network diagram. So activities are represented by rows. Nodes or circles are the starting and ending points of an activity. So it can only show finish to start dependencies. So we also have precedence diagramming method, uh, whereby activities are represented by boxes. So arrows show relationships between activities, and it is most popular than ADM method, and used by project management software. So it has a better showing. Um, it is better at showing different types of dependencies. So let us look at activity resource estimating. So before estimating activity durations, you must have a good idea of the quantity and type of resources that will be assigned to each activity. So you have to consider important issues in estimating resources. For example, how difficult will it be to do specific activities on this project? What is the organization's history in doing similar activities? Are the required resources available? So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. So we also have activity duration estimating, which includes the actual amount of time worked on activity plus elapsed time. So effort is the number of work days or work hours required to complete a task. Then effort does not normally equal duration. So people doing the work should help create estimates, and experts should review them. Let's look at 3-point estimates, which is an estimate that includes an optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic estimate. For example, 3 weeks for the optimistic, 4 weeks for the most likely, and 5 weeks for the pessimistic estimate. Let us look at schedule development. This uses results of the other management processes to determine the start and end date of the project. So the ultimate goal is to create a realistic project schedule that provides a basis for monitoring project progress for the time dimension of the project. So important tools used include Gantt charts, critical path analysis, critical chain scheduling, and path analysis. So Gantt charts provide a standard format for displaying project schedule information by listing project activities and their corresponding start and finish dates in a calendar format. Though the symbols include black diamonds, which indicate milestones, thick black bars, which show summary of tasks, then lighter horizontal bars, which show durations of tasks, and arrows, which shows dependencies between tasks. So this is a revision question. Can review and provide answers. That's all for now. Thank you.